If you're not feeling good about yourself, well, then there's going to be those few reasons for it. Number one, you are trying to measure up to the subjective standards of imperfect people. You care too much about what other people think and trying to make them feel happy or pleased with you. Or you maybe do understand what the objective standards are, and you are condemning yourself for not being perfect. It's one of the two. You're either trying to measure up to the subjective standards of imperfect people, or you're trying to measure up and be perfect according to the objective standards, and you condemn yourself because you're not. It's going to come from one of those two sources. And so I think we've pretty much established that going by the subjective standards of imperfect people is a dead end. It is a dead end. So when it comes then to not measuring up to the objective standards, and yet you still feel bad about yourself, well, that's what we've talked about also this week. Nobody is ever going to be perfect. Nobody's ever going to be perfect. So that means you'll never feel good about yourself. But as we said in the last episode, you're not necessarily applying that to the significant people in your life, like your significant other, your kids, what have you, family members. You know, if they're doing the best that they can and they have a good heart, a willingness to learn, they're open to instruction, they want to do better, well, then you're not trying to hold them up to some perfect standard, are you? You're not waiting till they become completely perfect before you give them your approval or you're happy with them. No, man, if you've got kids, like if I know that my kids want to do good. Are they perfect? No, I'm not perfect. But I know they have good hearts. They want to do good. They're doing what they can. I know that so I'm happy with that. I'm not asking more. Now, it may get into certain areas like maybe work or career or whatever, where I feel like, hey, man, you know what? You could probably step up your game here. But they understand that I feel that way about them in the sense that I'm pleased with them. And so when I challenge them in a particular area, I do it as parent coach, but it's in terms of performance, right? So that's helpful. And that's helpful when we get that from other people. So long as we know that the people in our life that offer us correction, that offer us instruction, so long as we know they're appealing in love to that objective standard, again, out of a sincere and genuine love and concern for us, then we can receive that. If we can't receive that, we still have another problem. We're not teachable. We can't be corrected, and that's a bad thing. It's a bad thing if you can't be corrected. It's a bad thing if people can't speak into your life. Man, we see this all the time, online and offline. People who cannot be corrected, they're never wrong. Man, that's tough. You got to be open to correction. You got to be open to instruction. The only way is if you believe there are objective standards to measure and judge ourselves. You've got to have it. As I said in the first episode, you can't erase judgment from the world. It would be a terrible place if we had no judgment, if we had no discernment about things. Judgment is necessary. It doesn't have to be condemnatory. You don't have to take it that way. You can judge poor performance, feel bad about it without turning on yourself, stepping up your game, and moving forward. You will feel good about yourself because you know you're committed to that. So long as you know you're committed to that, then you have every reason in the world to feel good about yourself, because that's the exact same way you would apply to your children, family member, or significant other. You're not asking them to be perfect. You're just saying, so long as they have a heart and a willingness to change and they're working on themselves, I can live with that. I can be happy with that. Do the same thing with yourself. Can you dig it? I hope you can.